Well, good morning. It's Monday the 9th of May, and we've come back to Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley to continue to work on putting Santas in farmers markets. This is kind of the second lap, 1 year later, of the Climbing Jacob's Ladder episode. We're going to climb Ladder Canyon tomorrow, but today we are starting with a hike up Tuckwitz Canyon, which is right here in Palm Springs. It's an easy walk. It's where I believe Frank Capra filmed the movie Shangri-La. You'll see why in a few minutes when we get up to the waterfall. But this is kind of a warm-up. Speaking of warming up, it's going to get to 100 by Thursday of this week, but we'll get most of our hiking then out of the way. We'll tell you a little bit more about where we are, but we've had an absolutely fantastic year with the Real Santas United to End Childhood Obesity and the Healthy, Happy Santas in farmers markets, as well as promoting Americans' right to know and educating them on the food labels. So we've had a wonderful year, and we're looking for an absolutely outstanding year this year, 2016.
Isn't this a beautiful place? You can see why they filmed the movie Shangri-La. It's just so beautiful.
Well, in some of the earlier episodes, we were climbing Ladder Canyon and using the metaphor of climbing Jacob's Ladder to talk about all the challenges that were ahead of us. Well, now it's the next year, and we accomplished a tremendous amount last year with Santas and farmers markets all over the state of California, and educational seminars on Spark. Santas promote Americans' right to know. This year, 2016, we'll not only have Santas in California, but we'll have Santas in Arizona. And thanks to these guys, the International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santas, we're likely to have Santas in farmers markets all over the United States. That remains to be seen. But the International Brotherhood is doing a marvelous job of promoting the mission of the Real Santas United to End Childhood Obesity, the mission of the Healthy Children's Initiative, and the spreading of the food rules, which get the kids off the junk food, the fast food, the processed food. So tomorrow we're going to climb Ladder Canyon again, but as you can see, we're not over our head yet, but we're definitely in the water to try to make a difference and change the culture of America from obesity and eating junk food and processed food to eating real food. That's what Santas can do. They can help make that cultural shift. So hang in there, guys, and gals. We have Lady Santas now. And we'll see you on the trail in Ladder Canyon tomorrow. Well, anyway, we're back in Ladder Canyon. Yesterday we were in the Tuckwitz Canyon, hiked for 3 hours. Helen showed you the place that she called where they filmed Shangri-La. That Frank Capra movie, which was filmed in 1937, they ended up there, and that was the scene for when they found Shangri-La, paradise, if you will. The movie, however, was called Lost Horizons, and we've never seen it. 1937 movie, but we'll see it. Part of that was filmed in Tuckwitz Canyon. Now we're going to go up Ladder Canyon. Last time we were here in the previous episodes of this chapter of the Sustainable Santa Sagas, we talked about how sneaking through the skinny cracks in the earth, which is the San Andreas Fault, was like a metaphor for the challenges that we Real Santas United and Childhood Obesity have to try to overcome all the obstacles that encourage kids to eat a bad diet, try to get them to eat a good diet, to live a sustainable lifestyle. Well, we're going to go back up Ladder Canyon again. We're not going to talk about all the challenges. We're going to talk about the accomplishments. Each time we go up a ladder, we'll tell you about something else great that happened this past year, 2015, or is going to happen in 2016 as we climb Ladder Canyon, which is our metaphor for climbing Jacob's Ladder. Just like Jacob's had to fashion a ladder to help the Jewish people climb all the obstacles that were in their path, we, Real Santas United, the real Santas who want to make a difference, a positive difference in America, have accomplishments we've made, and we're going to make a lot more, and we're going to talk about them in Ladder Canyon. Okay, well, we found our first ladder, and Helen is descending it, actually. normally you climb, but this one is a new one at the entrance because they've had a rock fall that kind of blocks the normal path here. And so we're descending into what in fact is the San Andreas Fault. But we've promised a lesson at each ladder. I guess the lesson at this one, since we're descending, is don't ever give up. So never give up. That's the lesson from the first ladder. And we are in the middle of the San Andreas Fault. If these two walls, this one is going toward Mexico, I think, and this one's going towards San Francisco. And this is the bottom of the San Andreas Fault. So, on to the next ladder. Ladder number 2 in Ladder Canyon. This one's in kind of a little tight.
What do I do when I get up there?
Wait, when you get up there, you turn back and say hi.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, Helen has scampered to the top of this, the second ladder in Ladder Canyon. Kind of comes out of something that almost looks like a manhole. Thank heavens for this rock. And the lesson on top of this ladder number 2 is thanks to our friends. And I would cite 2 right up front. The first is the International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santas, who underwrote the food rules for this last year, 2015, and Linda Planty, a marvelous gal who has started the Facebook site for the Healthy Children's Initiative, a wonderful, wonderful extension, if you will, or building off of the efforts of the Real Santas United. And the other one that I cannot pass up mentioning right at the outset is IRN, the Institute for Responsible Nutrition, based in San Francisco, started by Dr. Robert Lustig, who is head of pediatric medicine at the University of California, San Francisco. He's got titles that are a mile long, but he's a marvelous author and an advocate for healthy children and healthy eating. And Wolfram Alderson, the executive director of the Institute for Responsible Nutrition, both of whom have devoted time and resources galore to helping me expand the efforts of the Real Santas United. So, lesson number 2 on top of, happy lesson number 2 on top of the ladder. Number 2 is thank you, International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santas and the Institute for Responsible Nutrition and Dr. Robert Lustig and Wolfram Alderson in particular for all of their help.
And right over here is our next ladder.
Yeah, this is what walking in the middle of the San Andreas Fault is like. And I would guess that we are down probably about 10 stories. What you find? Another ladder? Go see if there's a ladder around the corner.
Oh, no. Come on, Richard.
Well, as I said, this is ladder number 4. We didn't take a picture at ladder number 3, but obviously the lesson from ladder number 3 is the 3 Santa food rules. The 3 rules that are designed to get the kids off the fast food, the junk food, and the processed food. If you're hungry, eat an apple. You say you're not hungry enough to eat an apple? Well, you're probably not really hungry. That rule goes to the fact that American children had a boredom habit, something to do. Okay, rule number 2, treat treats as treats. There's nothing wrong with a special occasion food. And a cake on your birthday, perfectly fine. But don't make that cake, that cookie, that cinnamon bun, that pizza a daily or weekly affair. Treat treats as treats. The third rule, the S rule, no sodas, no second helpings, no between meal snacks, no added sugar, no added salts, and no sweets, except possibly on days that begin with the letter S, Saturday and Sunday. That's the lesson from ladder number 3. The lesson from ladder number 4, well, we're going to concentrate on hiking a little bit more. We'll give you lesson number 4 after we climb ladder number 4. Well, after you get out of the narrow part, you get into a wider part, but of course the sun can come down on you, and it's going to be 90-some degrees today. It's now 10:29 in the morning. We got up at 5 to drive down here. This is outside the city of Mecca. But let's get lesson number 4 which we climbed that ladder number 4 out of the way, which is the garden bite lesson, which is the Santas send the children into the farmers' markets looking for garden bites, tastes of real whole food. You know, it's one thing to tell them what not to eat, it's another thing to tell them what to eat. And while we're on that point, the recent Dr. Oz show, we're in the middle of May now, made a point regarding just how bad processed food is. Now, processed food takes all the nutrition out, puts a lot of chemicals in, and as Dr. Lustig would tell you, more importantly, it destroys all the fiber, and you need the fiber for proper digestion. Dr. Oz makes the point that when they process it, quote, to make it healthier, it's still bad. Processed food that has added, not potassium, added protein. He had a bowl of Cheerios, which is pretty good as cereals go, and it only had 1 gram of sugar in it. He had a protein-enforced Cheerios, and it had 16 grams of sugar in it. So the key is, don't be fooled by processed food. Processing it destroys it, tears it apart. You don't need to do anything to food to make it better. And thinking that you add stuff to bad food to make it good is nonsense. Don't eat processed food. Eat real food. We'll pick it up at the next one. We found ladder number 5. It's a wooden one. Wow. Time to make a couple other points. I'm wearing my 2005 Over the Line shirt. We're going to have a great over-the-line team this year. And this year, the International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santas has joined with me to pick up a portion of to sponsor the team. I used to pay for all of the costs of the team, the shirts, the uniforms, the entrance fee, etc. This year, International Brotherhood is chipping in, and so is the Carlsbad Aqua Farm. They raise oysters in Carlsbad, and one of the things that the over-the-line ladies teams keep saying to us Santas when we're down there, keep it up, guys, keep up doing the good work, etc. Well, those oysters from the Carlsbad Aqua Farm help us keep it up, that's for sure. And thanks to International Brotherhood for part of the sponsorship. And again, thanks again to the Institute for Responsible Nutrition, started by Dr. Robert Lustig at the University of California, San Francisco Medical School. Over the line, I guess that's the up lesson from this year. Oh, we won first place. We won a first place award last year. It's ladder number 5, lesson over the line, here we come.
Oh, joy, another ladder. Oh.
It's time for another lesson, Helen. Yeah. But let's go ahead and climb the ladder before we do the lesson. What a trooper. Looks like we made it out of the canyon, Helen.
Yeah, look over there. I think that's the Salton Sea.
It is. It is.
It's cooler up
here. We're on the top of the mountains that make the San Andreas Fault. And it goes from there all the way up to, what? I don't know, Alaska. And down into Mexico. Yeah. Well, we came out of the canyon. We saw the arrow, saw the big trail. First we saw the lower viewpoint, then we saw the big trail. We thought, the easy path. So we followed it the way the arrow was going for about, I'm saying 2.5 miles, for an hour. It was going further and further and further away from our car and further higher and further inland. So now we're turning around and we're going to go back down through the same ladder canyon that we came up. What's the lesson here? The lesson is, don't always think you can follow the easy path. Sometimes you have to go against the grain. And sometimes it's better to stick with the path you're on, even though it's not an easy one. And going down that ladder canyon, we got a little bit of blood on us going up. Maybe get a lot of blood on us going back. It's now, it's 12:30. We started at 8:30. Fortunately, we have plenty of water, and we still have a couple more trail mix things with nuts So we'll have plenty of energy, we have plenty of hydration, and it doesn't get dark until 7 o'clock tonight.
Oh gosh, that's good.
And Helen's thinking, if this is our last video, then we love you, children. Not only all the children of the world, but also our own children and our grandchildren. So we'll see what happens as we start back down the ladder canyon we came up. The ladder canyon you know is the ladder canyon you should take. Okay, hopefully we'll see you at the bottom.
Wow. Well, here we are. We're back at the mouth of the Ladder Canyon. Well, I've been there and back again. Where's Photo? Where's Photo?
It's quite a hike.
Wow.
And we recommend it to every Santa
Oh,
and every kid that wants to be healthy, happy, and fit.
put it on your bucket list.
Fit for life. Okay, let's head out that way.
Oh, home.
Well, yesterday we hiked in the crack in the earth, which is the San Andreas Fault, and people have said to us, you know, you're really crazy to be going down 10, 12 stories, sometimes in a crack that's only about this wide, which is the crack where the two walls are going opposite directions. Of course, only when there's an earthquake. My thought is that Mother Nature is not going to harm us, and neither is the deity that looks over our shoulder. We're not afraid to be in that, because that's not the Valley of Death. I'm in the Valley of Death. We're in a Palm Springs supermarket, and if you look down here, it is a whole two aisles of sugary drinks. Now, sugar in the volumes that we take it in America today is toxic. It is poison. And when you add to it all the other chemicals we get, they're taking the nutrients out with the processing, the adding of chemicals like glyphosate on the GMO crops, which most countries have already classified as a cancer-causing agent. So it's not the GMO seed, it's the stuff they spray on it, the glyphosate they spray on it, that gives you cancer. And so don't get confused with that. Anyway, here we are in the Valley of Death in a supermarket in Palm Springs, and today we're going to do the easy hike. It's going to be 102 today in Palm Springs. We're going to take the tram up to the top and hike Mount San Jacinto. And then later in the week we'll have a surprise for you. By the way, thank you for watching Chapter 11 of the Santa Sagas, and we have just been filming Episode 5, and I guess we're now into Episode 6. So go back and watch them all. They're fun. The first one, it's too early in the morning. The first one takes place in Ladder Canyon as well. So we'll see you on the trail.